Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition show. This is all things 2023 NCAA tournament. This will all get started tomorrow night with the first four. And then Wednesday night is also the first four. You have one 16 seed matchup and one 11 seed matchup each night. So 4 in total within the 2-night span. The round of 64 is Thursday, March 16th and Friday, March 17th. The round of 32, which is the second round, is March 18th and 19th. That's Saturday and Sunday. The Sweet 16 will be held. Don't you just love the sound of a paper? That is the bracket. March 23rd and 24th, which is the Thursday, Friday. The Elite Eight would be Saturday, Sunday, March 25th and 26th. The national semifinals will be Saturday, April 1st. And the national title game Monday night, April 3rd at NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, the site of the 2023 Final Four. All right, I'm going to go region by region and go over all of the seeds. All right. Your number one overall seed in the NCAA tournament, the Alabama Crimson Tide, winners of the SEC tournament, 29-5 overall. And they'll be playing the winner of the play-in game between Texas A&M Corpus Christi and Southeast Missouri State, which will be held tomorrow night. That's the 16 seeds. Your 8 seed in this region is the Maryland Terrapins. I'm going in order of the bracket. 21-12 overall as an at-large, and your number 9 seed is the West Virginia Mountaineers, 19-14 overall, and an at-large out of the Big 12. Your 5-12 in this region, your 5 seed is San Diego State Aztecs from the Mountain West, auto bid winners. On the year, 27-6. And the 12 seed in this region is the Charleston Cougars of the Colonial Athletic Association, your automatic big, 31-3 on the season. Your 4 seed is the Virginia Cavaliers, 25-7 on the season. At large out of the ACC, your 13 seed is the Furman Paladins, your auto bid winners of the Southern Conference, 27-7 on the season. Your 6 seed is the Creighton Blue Jays, 21-12 on the year, at large out of the Big East. Your 11 seed is the NC State Wolfpack at the ACC, 23-10 on the year and at large. Your 3 seed is the Baylor Bears out of the Big 12, 22-10 on the year at large. 14 seed UC Santa Barbara out of the Big West, your auto bid winners, 27-7 on the season. Your 7 seed is the Missouri Tigers from the SEC, 24-9 overall at large bid. Your 10 seed is Utah State out of the Mountain West, 26-8 overall at large. Your 2 seed is the Arizona Wildcats out of the Pac-12, 28-6 on the season, auto bid winner of the Pac-12 tournament. And the 15 seed in this region is the Princeton Tigers out of the Ivy League, 21-8 on the season, an auto bid winner out of the Ivy League. All right, now we're just going to go, it was kind of felt weird doing it that way with the matchup order, but as we go through the rest of this, we'll go in seeding order, not necessarily the bracket order. So, your number 2 overall seed, and deservingly so, out of the Midwest region, the Houston Cougars, your AAC regular season title, 31-3 overall at large berth. Your number 2 seed in this region is the Texas Longhorns out of the Big 12, 26-8 overall, auto bid winner. So that gets them to the 2 line. Your 3 seed is the Xavier Musketeers out of the Big East, 25-9 overall at large bid. Your 4th seed in the Midwest region is the Indiana Hoosiers out of the Big Ten, 21-11 on the year at large bid. Your 5 seed is the Miami Hurricanes out of the ACC, 25-7 on the year at large bid. Your 6th seed is the Iowa State Cyclones out of the Big 12, 19-13 on the season at large bid. Your 7th seed Texas A&M out of the SEC, 25-9 on the year at large bid. Your 8th seed is the Iowa Hawkeyes out of the Big 10, 19-13 on the year at large bid. Your 9th seed is the Auburn Tigers out of the SEC, 20-12 on the year at large bid. Your 10th seed is the Penn State Nittany Lions out of the Big 10, 22-13 on the season at large bid. Your 11 seeds are play-in games, which we will see tomorrow night. Mississippi State out of the SEC, 21-12 on the season at large, and Pitt out of the ACC, 22-11 at large bid. Your 12 seed, now we're in the auto bid territory. Drake, the Drake Bulldogs out of the Missouri Valley Conference, 27-7 on the year at auto bid. Your 13 seed from the Mid-American Conference, the Kent State Golden Flashes, 28-6 on the year auto bid. 14th seed at the ASUN, the Kennesaw State Owls, 26-8 on the season auto bid. Your 15th seed from the Patriot League, the Colgate Raiders, 26-8 on the year auto bid. And your 16th seed from the Horizon League, Northern Kentucky Norse, 22-12 on the year as an auto bid. All right, the West Regional. Your number 1 seed in that region, the number 3 overall seed, the Kansas Jayhawks out of the Big 12, 27-7 on the season, and they're not large. Number 2, UCLA, the Bruins, the Pac-12 regular season champs, 29-5 on the season at large bid. 3 seed, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, WCC auto bid and regular season champs, 28-5 on the season. Or I should say co-champs. Your 4 seed in this region, the Connecticut Huskies out of the Big East, 25-8 on the season at large bid. Your 5 seed out of the West Coast Conference, the St. Mary's Gales at large bid, 26-7 on the season. Your 6th seed, the TCU Horned Frogs out of the Big 12, 21-12 on the season at large bid. Your 7th seed out of the Big 10, the Northwestern Wildcats, 21-11 on the season at large bid. Your 8th seed, the Arkansas Razorbacks, SEC, 20-13 on the year at large bid. Your 9th seed is the Illinois Fighting Illini out of the Big 10, 20-12 on the year at large bid. Your 10th seed is the Boise State Broncos out of the Mountain West, 24-9 on the season at large bid. Your 11 seeds are play-ins. The Arizona State Wildcats out of the Pac-12, 22-12 on the season. And Nevada Mountain West Conference, 22-10 overall, both at larges. Your 12th seed in this region, the VCU Rams out of the A-10, 27-7 on the year auto bid. Your 13th seed is the Iona Gales, the Metro Atlantic, 27-7 on the year auto bid. 14th seed, the Grand Canyon Antelopes out of the WAC, 24-11 on the season. They're an auto bid. Your 15th seed, the UNC Asheville Bulldogs out of the Big South, 27-7 on the season. They're an auto bid. And your 16th seed, Howard, the Howard Bison out of the MEAC, 22-12 on the year as an auto bid. So they are the last team that got an auto bid that got the bye. And last but not least, the East region, your number 1 seed and your number 4 overall seed out of the Big 10, the Purdue Boilermakers, they get the auto bid out of the Big 10. Your 2 seed, the Marquette Golden Eagles out of the Big East, 28-6 on the year, auto bid. They win the Big East tournament. Your 3 seed is the Kansas State Jayhawks, Big 12, 23-9 on the year, at large bid. Your 4 seed is the Tennessee Volunteers out of the SEC, 22-10 on the year, at large bid. Your 5 seed is the Duke Blue Devils out of the ACC, 26-8 on the season, with an auto bid as they won the ACC tournament. Your 6th seed is the Kentucky Wildcats out of the SEC, 21-11 on the year, at large bid. Your 7th seed is the Michigan State Spartans out of the Big 10, 19-12 on the year, at large bid. Your 8th seed is the Memphis Tigers out of the American Conference, 26-8 on the year, auto bid. Your 9th seed is the FAU Owls, CUSA regular season and conference tournament champs. They get the auto bid. They're really good. Your 10 seed is the USC Trojans out of the Pac-12. 22-10 on the season at large bid. Your 11 seed, which was the last team with a bye out of the at-large teams, the Providence Friars out of the Big East, 21-11 on the year at large bid. Your 12 seed, your Summit League tournament champs, the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles auto bid winners. Your 13 seed out of the Sun Belt, 26-7 on the year. The Louisiana Raging Cajuns are an auto bid. By the way, Oral Roberts' record 30-4. Your 14 seed out of the Big Sky Conference, the Montana State Bobcats, auto bid winners, 25-9 on the year. Your 15th seed out of the America East, the Vermont Catamounts, 23-10 on the year, auto bid winners. And your 16 seed play-in matchups, Texas Southern out of the SWAC, 14-20 on the year in an auto bid, and Fairleigh Dickinson out of the Northeast, 19-15 on the year, also in auto bid. So there's some teams that I think are overseeded and underseeded. We'll get to those in the picks. All right, now we get to the picks, the fun part. Tomorrow, this all begins. Tuesday, March 14th, first four, 16 seeds, South Region, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Southeast Missouri State. From the University of Dayton Arena in Dayton, Ohio. All right, so like I said, we went over the records for these schools as we did the seedings. So A&M Corpus Christi, very solid Southland team. 3 guys averaging double figures a game, led by Trevion Tennyson, Isaac Mashila, and Terrion Murdix. And on the other side was Southeast Missouri State. You could make a case they have the best player on the court in this game in Philip Russell. They also have 2 other good scorers in Chris Harris and Israel Barnes. My projection for this game is A&M Corpus Christi by 4 1/4, total 153 and a 20th. And I really don't want to do the totals and lines now because they could obviously move, especially for the games Thursday and Friday. They could move a lot between now and then. But for some reason, the first 4 games are not up. Only one first 4 game is posted on FanDuel right now. But on DraftKings, they're all posted. Corpus Christi's a 4-point favorite. Total's 156. So I'm not going to give out my betting picks on this show. I'll be giving out my betting picks for these games on my regular shows. So for tomorrow's 2 games, which I'm about to give out my straight up picks for the bracket, I'll go over my betting picks for the respective games tomorrow, Wednesday, and so forth for all the games. So the relevant thing here is who's advancing in my bracket, and that I have is Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I have advancing in the first 4 to take on Alabama. In the second of 2 first 4 games on Tuesday, March 14th, 11 seeds in the Midwest region, Pittsburgh and Mississippi State. Both of these teams have had up and down years and both deserve to be playing in the Big Dance. Pitt's a pretty deep team. They have 2 pretty elite scorers and Blake Hinson and Jamarius Burton. And Mississippi State They have a really good player in Tolu Smith. My projection in this game, I'm going to give it away some projections here, only for the first 4 games, though, because we don't want to take up too much time. I project Mississippi State 2.5 and the total of 136 3/4. So advancing, I have Mississippi State out of the play-in. The third of 4 first 4 games. The first of 2 on Wednesday, March 15th. 16 seeds in the East region. Texas Southern and Fairleigh Dickinson. Texas Southern got hot for a little bit in that tournament in the SWAC and got here. Pretty deepish team. They're coming together at the right time. Fairleigh Dickinson, very solid Northeast Conference team. They had the best player on the court in this game in Dimitri Roberts. I actually project Fairleigh Dickinson as a 3/4 favorite, total of 146 and 11/20. Although Texas Southern is actually the Vegas favorite to win the game, I'm going to take Fairleigh Dickinson to advance in my bracket. And the last of first 4 games, the second of 2 on Wednesday, March 15th. 11 seeds out of the West region, Arizona State and Nevada. In my opinion, this is the most fascinating game of the battle of 11 seeds because I think the team with the highest upside of the 4 11 seeds that are playing in Dayton belongs in this game. I really think they are way more superior than their opponent. Arizona State, they're a team that loves to get up for these games, led by Desmond Cambridge Jr. He hit the half-court heave against Arizona on CBS a few weeks ago. Nevada's a team I don't think belongs in the field. I think the Rutgers Scarlet Knights belong instead of them. And I'm not just saying that because I'm from New Jersey, but I just think that Rutgers belongs in the field over Nevada. Had Rutgers lost to Michigan, then I would have put Nevada in the field. Who knows? But Nevada probably has the best player on the court in this game in Gerard Lucas. But I just am so much more confident in this Wildcats team. I project them a 9.5-point favorite, total 138 and 11/20. So therefore, I have Arizona State surviving to play another day. All right, for the round of 64 games, I am going to go over them in order of the times they're played in the channels. And I am not going to do jump on the point spreads and whatnot for these games because they can change by the time the game's played. And I'll give out betting picks for these games come Thursday and Friday, and I'm strictly just going to do straight up because that's the point of the bracket podcast. All right. 12:15 CBS to kick things off from the South region, your 9 seed, the West Virginia Mountaineers, 8 seed Maryland. I think this is a pretty good game. I really do. Both these teams are solid. West Virginia is a team that's come along very well in the latter half of Big 12 play, led by Eric Stevenson and Trey Mitchell. They're both playing good basketball. And Maryland is a team that started hot and kind of just went under the radar for a few weeks, and then they popped back into the rankings in the beginning of the month. They probably have the best player on the court in this game in Jameer Young, averaging over 16 a game. They're a pretty deep team, too. So I'm not giving my projections for these games either. Because, like I said, for the rest of these picks, I'm just going to do straight up. So, advancing in my bracket, this was a hard call. I was battling. But I like this Terps team better. I like Young. I respect Bob Huggins. I think he's a terrific coach. I've seen some of his teams flame out early in the tournament. Other times I've seen them go to the Sweet 16. But I like this Maryland team, and I think they're coming together a little bit. So give me Maryland to advance past West Virginia. 12:40 on True TV. South Region, 13 seed Furman, 4 seed Virginia. This is an interesting matchup, obviously. Virginia has not really been playing well over the last month. As they head into the tournament, Armand Franklin and Jaden Gardner and company really have to step up. And Furman's coming in hot, winning that tournament. They probably have the best player on the court in this game in Mike Bothwell. Maybe even the second best guy on the court in Jalen Slauson, too. This team is pretty deep. And by the way, the West Virginia-Maryland game is being played in Birmingham, Alabama at the Legacy Arena. And this match is being played at the Amway Center in Orlando. So, advancing my bracket, I'm going to go with the Cavaliers based on experience. Furman hasn't been in the tournament in a long time, and it might actually be their first tournament appearance ever. But anyway, I'm advancing Virginia. I just think that they're a team that may be able to turn it on for one round. All right, next, 140 TNT, South Region from Golden One Center in Sacramento, 10th seed Utah State, 7th seed Missouri. A very interesting game. Both these teams I actually pretty like. Utah State's a really deep team. They made the Mountain West final. Stephen Ashworth leads the way, over 16 a game. Missouri's kind of coming on, too. They were in the AP poll in the last week of the season. End up the 4 seed in the SEC tournament. They are led by Kobe Brown, probably the best player playing in this game. Although Ashworth might have something to say about that. Advancing, I'm going to have Missouri. Part of this is my belief in Kobe Brown and his all-around play being very strong. I like Dennis Gates as a coach. I think he's done a great job with his team, so I'm going to advance the Missouri Tigers. 2 o'clock, TBS, 16 seed Howard, 1 seed Kansas out of the West Region. Game will be played at the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa. Howard winning the MEAC. Their best guy is Elijah Hawkins, 13 a game. But Kansas is an absolute machine, led by Jalen Wilson, Grady Dick, KJ Adams, and Kevin McCullough. They're the big four of that team. I project Kansas by 24 3/4. Oh, wait, I wasn't giving away projections here. But oh well, I just did there. But it was obvious I was advancing Kansas anyway, so I might as well just share the projection. 2:45 on CBS. You have the winner of the play-in game from Tuesday against 1 seed Alabama in the South Region. Game will be played in Birmingham at the Legacy Arena. I'm going to pencil A&M Corpus Christi in this game. But Alabama is just an absolute machine. I think they've kind of ride the ship a little bit since the Brandon Miller incident. I really think that Miller's going to carry them here. And they're going to roll whoever they play. 3:10 True TV, 12 seed Charleston, 5 seed San Diego State out of the South Region from Orlando. Charleston, I think, has a chance to be the Loyola Chicago of this year in terms of a team that has a lot of wins and so few losses that could make a run. I mean, other teams that are comparable, maybe the Little Rock team that Chris Beard coached back in 2016. The Middle Tennessee team that knocked off Michigan State and Denzel Valentine back in 2016. So there's Charleston could end up in that group potentially if things go their way. Very deep team led by Dalton Bullitt and Ante Brojovic. And San Diego State, I think, is a really good team of their own, led by Matt Bradley. In my bracket, I'm going to advance San Diego State. I just think Charleston's going to be too trendy of a pick. And I think that one Mountain West team has to do something. And San Diego State has been a great team for a while now, so I'm going to advance them. South Region, 15 seed Princeton, 2 seed Arizona. Princeton Ivy League winners. 3 guys averaging double figures, led by Tosan Bauman. And Zona's riding high into the tournament. Weird resume, but they're in a great spot. Led by Azulis Tubelis, who puts the Wildcats on his back. This game's going to be held in Sacramento at the Golden One Center. I'm advancing Arizona. If Princeton was playing somebody weaker, then maybe I'd give them an opportunity here, but Arizona's going to smoke them. Next up, 4:30 TBS, West Region, 9-seed Illinois, 8-seed Arkansas. I find this the battle of a badly underseeded team and a badly overseeded team. The underseeded team being Illinois and the overseeded team being Arkansas. It will be held in Des Moines at the Wells Fargo Arena. But it is going to be a great game for sure. 2 guys averaging double figures for Illinois, Terrence Shannon Jr. and Matthew Meyer, and Arkansas, led by Ricky Council IV. But the thing that sucks is that they haven't seen their lottery pick, Nick Smith Jr., play a lot this season. He was out for like a month and a half, and then he came back. He's settling into things a little bit. So that's a story to watch in terms of guys that could put themselves on the map from a draft standpoint. In this tournament, I'm advancing Illinois. They have experience. Arkansas is just dealing with some stuff, chemistry, and I don't know. I'm going to advance Illinois. I feel like Arkansas is underachieved all season. So is Illinois. But I'm going to advance Illinois in the bracket. All right. Midwest region. 9-seed Auburn, 18 Iowa. Game being played in Birmingham. This is another badly overseeded versus badly underseeded. Auburn's very overseeded. Iowa, on the other hand, is very underseeded. Auburn, pretty deep team led by Johnny Broome and Wendell Green Jr. And Iowa, lost 4 of their last 6, 5 of their last 8 coming into the tournament. But they have the best player on the court in this game in Chris Murray, who's the brother of Keegan Murray, who could carry them. I do think Auburn is going to win this game, though. Being in Birmingham is going to help them. And I think that they're a team that I think could get by Iowa, who is very feast or famine and is kind of teetered coming into the tournament. Despite me thinking that Auburn's overseeded and Iowa's underseeded. 7:10 on CBS. East Region, 12-seed Oral Roberts, 5-seed Duke from Orlando. Oral Roberts could be that Cinderella story that I described about Charleston earlier, like the Loyola Chicago or 2011 Wichita State or 2016 Little Rock, 2016 Middle Tennessee. Stephen F. Austin, I think that was 2014. I feel like Stephen F. Austin made the Sweet 16 one year when the Illinois coach, Brad Underwood, was coaching them. I had to think of his name for a second. But Oral Roberts might have the best player on the court in this game with Max Onbas. That's their argument to potentially knock off Duke, who's riding high into the dance. Winners of 9 straight games. Their big man, Kyle Filipowski, has just been a monster. And Jeremy Roque is playing well for them as well. I just like how Duke's playing. And I understand Oral Roberts has won 17 straight coming into the dance. Both these teams are red hot right now. But the Duke Blue Devils right now feel like a team that could do some big things. So I'm going to advance Duke. 7:25 on TBS. Midwest region, 15 seed Colgate, 2 seed Texas. Colgate, a team that you can't sleep on. Don't sleep on Colgate. They could beat the random St. Peter's team that goes on a run. They're more comparable to St. Peter's because they were both 15 seeds, or the Florida Gulf Coast team from 2011 that made the Sweet 16. That could be Colgate if things break right. They're a deep team led by Tucker Richardson. And Texas, I got to give them credit. They really have come a long way since the Chris Beard incident, and they've really have come together. They're a deep team led by Marcus Carr, averaging nearly 16 a game. This game's being played in Iowa at Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines. I'm going to take Texas to advance. They're just safer play. All due respect to Colgate. Great year, but I just like how Texas is playing right now. Next up, West Region game being played in Sacramento. You have the 10th seed Boise State and 7th seed Northwestern. This is actually going to be a really good game, I think. Boise, great year in the Mountain West. Really deep team led by Tyson Degenhart. And Northwestern, really, really solid team of their own, led by Boo Buie, one of my favorite names of the tournament, averaging over 17 a game. This game's being played in Sacramento, if I didn't mention that already. I'm going to advance Boise State. I just like how they've been playing. Northwestern's kind of faltered into the tournament. Meanwhile, I like how Boise's playing. They're deep, so I'm going to go with Boise State to advance here. Midwest region from Birmingham, 16 seed Northern Kentucky, 1 seed Houston. Northern Kentucky, not the biggest fan of Northern Kentucky. Marquez Warwick averaging over 19 a game for them. Obviously winners of the Horizon League. Houston, I think, has been the best team all season long. Marcus Sasser and his status is the big concern for me in this game, but they should be okay without him for at least this game, so I'm going to advance Houston here, obviously. You don't want to beat 2018 Virginia if you're any of these 1 seeds. 9:40 on CBS, 13 seed Louisiana, 4 seed Tennessee out of the East region. Game will be held in Orlando. Louisiana as a team I think is coming along really well right now. They've won 5 straight. Led by Jordan Brown. And Tennessee, meanwhile, is heading in the opposite direction of Louisiana. Sakai Ziegler out for the year with the Achilles injury. Santiago Vescovi, a lot is on him to step up. This is going to be my big upset of this region. I'm going to pick Louisiana to upset Tennessee. I think the loss of Ziegler is going to hurt Tennessee. And this Louisiana team can shoot it. And Sun Belt teams have success in this tournament often. So I'm going to go with Louisiana here. All right, 9:55 TBS, 10 seed Penn State, 7 seed Texas A&M. Excellent game. 2 hot teams coming into the tournament. Penn State really was coming out strong. Jalen Pickett might be the best player in this game, averaging nearly an 18, 7, and 7 on the season. A&M, I like how they're playing too, with Wade Taylor the fourth leading the way. I'm going to advance Texas A&M. I just think that they have the better tournament coach in Buzz Williams. Penn State, there's some drama. Maybe their coach could be in rumors of other openings. That could be a distraction to a team a little bit. So I'm going to advance Texas A&M. In the last game on Thursday, March 16th, 10 o'clock on True TV, 15 seed UNC Asheville, 2 seed UCLA. I have to pick this up because I know I'm past the 30-minute mark. Asheville, winners of the Big South. They have a really dominant big man in Drew Pember. And UCLA, really, really solid team led by Jaime Jaquez and Tyga Campbell. Losing Jalen Clark for the season hurts UCLA. I don't think it will hurt them here as they'll advance past UNC Asheville. All right, the Friday games, I'm going to try to be a little bit quicker here. 12:15 CBS on St. Patrick's Day Friday. East Region, 10 seed USC, 17 Michigan State. SC, great year. Boogie Ellis comes over from Memphis. He's been tremendous. Michigan State, don't like how they looked against Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament. Really, not your typical Sparty team. Tyson Walker leads the way there. I'm advancing the Trojans, and this game will be held at Nationwide Arena in Columbus. 12:40 True TV, Midwest Region in Greensboro. 14 seed Kennesaw State, 3 seed Xavier. Kennesaw State A-Sun champs. Chris Youngblood leads the way. Xavier, pretty solid team, led by Solly Baum and Colby Jones. I'm going to advance Xavier. Friday, 1:30 TNT, South Region, 14 seed UC Santa Barbara, 3 seed Baylor. From Denver, Santa Barbara, the Big West champs, led by A.J. Mitchell. Baylor, I think a little bit overseeded, led by Keontae George and Adam Flagler. I'm going to advance Baylor because of their experience. 12 o'clock on TBS, 12 seed VCU, 5 seed St. Mary's. From the West Region, game will be played in Albany. I think this is going to be a great game. VCU, pretty deep team, good defensive team led by Adrian Baldwin. St. Mary's, very good team this year, led by Aiden Mahoney and Logan Johnson. This is going to be my 12/5 upset of the tournament. Give me VCU to knock off St. Mary's. St. Mary's can be offensively challenged sometimes, and a team that's elite defensively like VCU, I think, could pick them off here. Next, 2:45 on CBS from Columbus, East Region, 15 seed Vermont, 2 seed Marquette. Vermont, your winners of the America East, led by Dylan Penn. And on the other side with Marquette, very good season for Shaka Spartan Company, led by Cam Jones at 15 a game. I'm going to advance Marquette. 3:10 True TV, Midwest first round. From Greensboro, your winner between Pitt and Mississippi State against Iowa State. In this case, it's going to be Mississippi State, who we talked about earlier. Iowa State, 2 guys averaging double figures a game, Jaron Holmes and Gabe Kalusher. I'm actually going to advance Mississippi State over Iowa State in a seeding upset here. 4 o'clock TNT, 11 seed NC State, 6 seed Creighton, South Region. From Denver, NC State, really good team, led by Traquavion Smith and Jarkel Joyner. Creighton, pretty deep team, led by Ryan Kalkbrenner and Trey Alexander. I'm going to advance NC State here. I I just like how they're playing. They might have the best two guys on the court in this game, and I really like their guard play. 4:30 TBS West Region, 13 seed Iona, 4 seed UConn from Albany. Oh boy, Rick Pitino against the Big East in New York. Iona, very solid team led by Walter Clayton Jr. and UConn, a team that might be underseeded a little bit, led by Jordan Hawkins and Adama Sanogo. I'm going to advance UConn. They're just a better team than Iona, and there might be distractions with Iona and the future of Rick Pitino. 6:50 TNT East Region first round from Columbus. The Texas Southern Fairleigh Dickinson winner against Purdue. I'm advancing Dickinson. Purdue is a really good team. Obviously, the National Player of the Year favorite in there, and Zach Edey. He's been just tremendous, averaging nearly a 22-13 on the season. He is Purdue. They're going to advance easily. 7:10 CBS East Region from Greensboro, 11 seed Providence, and 6 seed Kentucky. Providence, really good team led by Bryson Hawkins. And obviously the funny thing here is that he used to play for Kentucky. And Kentucky's a team that's kind of coming together right now, led by Jacob Taubin, Oscar Chibwe, and Antonio Reeves. I'm going to advance Kentucky here. I just think they're the better team and a team playing better right now. And their last two losses were to a hot Vanderbilt team that's in the NIT. 7:25 on TBS Midwest Region from Albany, 12 seed Drake, 5 seed Miami. Drake, they have a really good player in Tucker DeVries, 19 a game. Miami, their best player is Isaiah Wong. DeVries might be the best guy on the court in this game, but I'm going to pick Miami to advance. I just think they're better. 7:35 on True TV, West Region, 14 seed Grand Canyon, 3 seed Gonzaga from Denver. Grand Canyon, a really good WAC team that won their tournament, led by Rayshawn Harrison. And Gonzaga, obviously led by Drew Timme and Julian Strawweather, Antonio Watson, and Razor Bolton. Gonzaga should roll in this game. 9:20 TNT East Region from Columbus, 19 FAU, 18 Memphis. Of course, the committee had to put these two teams against one another. FAU's led by John L. Davis. They've been a great team all season long, deserving of an at-large spot. Memphis led by Kendrick Davis and DeAndre Williams. Probably the best two guys on the court in this game. But I'm going to go with FAU. I just think there's something special going with FAU. And Memphis, I know, won its first-round game last year. But I think FAU wants to prove a point. 9:40 on CBS, East Region, 14 Montana State, 3 seed Kansas State from Greensboro. Montana State, the Big Sky champs, led by Raekwon Battle. And Kansas State, really loaded team, kind of fallen off in the second half of Big 12 play, led by Keontae Johnson and Marquise Nowell. I do think they'll advance here pretty easily. 9:55 on TBS, Midwest Region, 13 seed Kent State, 4 seed Indiana from Albany. Kent State, solid Mid-American team led by Sincere Carey. And Indiana, Trey Jackson Davis has just been a monster all season. And Jalen Hood-Schifino is a good player for them as well. I'm going to advance Indiana just because of Jackson Davis and his powers. And the final round of 64 game, 10 o'clock on True TV, West Region, your winner of the Arizona State-Nevada game against TCU from Denver. TCU, very solid team, led by Mike Miles Jr. and Damian Bogg. I have Arizona State playing in this game, and I think Arizona State's going to beat TCU. I really do. Bobby freaking Hurley, tournament coach. Cambridge is going to be on a mission. So give me Arizona State to advance. All right, the round of 32. I don't know the times yet, but I'm just going to go by how it was set up in the round of 64 order. All right, 8 seed Maryland, 1 seed Alabama, South Region from Birmingham. I just think Brandon Miller and company are going to continue to roll here. I think they win over Maryland by double digits. South Region, San Diego State and Virginia from Orlando. I think this is where the offensively challenged Virginia can kind of get exposed here. I think this is the Mountain West is time to get a team into the Sweet 16. I'm going to advance San Diego State. Round of 32, South Region, 7 seed Missouri, 2 seed Arizona from Sacramento. I just think Arizona is a machine right now. They are absolutely rolling, and I think that Tubelis is going to dominate here. West Region, 9 seed Illinois, 1 seed Kansas from Des Moines, Iowa. This is another time where I think the superior team will rise to the occasion. Illinois is underachieved all year. Kansas is going to roll, led by Jalen Wilson. So I think Kansas advances. Midwest Region, 9 seed Auburn, 1 seed Houston from Birmingham. Auburn and Birmingham is going to be tough. We'll see about Sasser. Maybe he's back by then. But I do expect Houston to advance over Auburn. East Region, 13 seed Louisiana, 5 seed Duke from Orlando. Louisiana's dream to be a double-digit seed in the Sweet 16 comes to an end. Filipowski is the best guy on the court. Duke advances. Midwest Region, 7 seed Texas A&M, 2 seed Texas from Des Moines. Great in-state rivalry here. Former conference rivals. You have Buzz Williams and you have Tyrod Terry trying to get that Texas job. This is going to be a great game. I love Carr on Texas, but I just think Texas A&M is a team that's playing great basketball right now, led by Wade Taylor, and I think they get to the Sweet 16 in an upset. West Region, 10 seed Boise State, 2 seed UCLA from Goldenwood Center in Sacramento. We talked about Boise earlier. They're a really good team, but UCLA's a machine, led by Hawkes. But Jalen Clark, will his absence affect UCLA here? I'm going to say maybe, but they get by Boise to get to the Sweet 16. All right, the Sunday round of 32 games. East Region, 10 seed USC, 2 seed Marquette from Nationwide Arena. Should be a great game. I love Boogie Ellis on USC. Marquette, I just think is a vulnerable 2 seed and is capable of getting picked off early. I like Cam Jones, but I know the game's being played in Columbus, which is closer to Milwaukee than it is to Southern Cal, but I think SC is poised to go on a run, and here we have yet another double-digit seed into the Sweet 16. So I'm going to go with USC to make the Sweet 16 over Marquette. Midwest Region, 11 seed Mississippi State, 3 seed Xavier in Greensboro. We talked about Miss State a lot. I just think that Xavier and Sean Miller are just poised, and they want to get to the Sweet 16 in his first year. So I'm going to say Xavier advances. South Region in Denver, 11 seed NC State, 3 seed Baylor. We talked about NC State and how I think that they could be a sneaky 11 seed. I really like Smith. He's a really good scorer. But some of these guys on the Bears now were on that national championship team, and don't underestimate the heart of a champion, I was once told. So I'm going to advance Baylor to the Sweet 16. West seeds or West Region in Albany, 12 seed VCU, 4 seed UConn. VCU, I think, has the makings of the random A-10 team that gets to the Sweet 16. We saw Dayton make the Sweet 16, I believe, one year. I want to say it's 2014. They upset Syracuse, I believe, in the second round, and I forgot who they picked off in the first round. I think they were a 10 seed, but maybe they were a 9. But still, you've seen random 8-10 teams go to the Sweet 16 sometimes. And UConn, I really do like their prospects, and I do like Sanogo, who might be the best guy on the court in this game. The game's in Albany, which might matter to UConn. But I'm going to pick the 12-4 upset and put VCU into the Sweet 16 as Dan Hurley's record as UConn coach in the tournament will drop to 1-3. East Region from Columbus, 9 seed FAU, 1 seed Purdue. Great story for FAU, but I think their magic runs out here against Zach Edey and the Boilermakers, so I have Purdue into the Sweet 16. East Region, 6 seed Kentucky, 3 seed Kansas State from Greensboro. These two teams met in the tournament a couple of times in the past, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like Kansas State is a team that's overachieved this year, and Kentucky's obviously a team that's underachieved this year. I think that this is going to be a great game, the Battle of the Wildcats. But Sheboy might be the best guy on the court. I'm going to advance Kentucky into the Sweet 16. Midwest Region from Albany, 5 seed Miami, 4 seed Indiana. Excellent game. The best player in this game could either be Isaiah Wong or Trace Jackson Davis. It could be either one of those guys. But I think the deeper team is Miami. And I think that's going to matter here. So I'm going to advance the Hurricanes into the Sweet 16. And the last round of 32 game, 11 seed Arizona State, 3 seed Gonzaga from Denver, West Region. This should be a really good game. I think a lot of people would pick Arizona State as that feisty underdog to get by Gonzaga because people don't like Gonzaga for some reason and they always fall short, yada yada. But the best player on the court in this game is going to be Drew Timme. And I think that Drew Timme wants to go on a big run in his final NCAA tournament. So I'm going to advance Gonzaga into the Sweet 16. All right, so the Sweet 16, like I said, will begin on Thursday, March 23rd, but we don't know when the games will be. So I am going to go through region by region. All right, so the South Region, the South Regional Final will be at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville. So 5 seed San Diego State, 1 seed Alabama. Should be a really, really good game. I think that San Diego State could slow down Bama at least a little bit. But will it be enough? I'm going to advance Alabama to the Elite Eight, although I don't love the pick. I think San Diego State can absolutely win that game. 3 seed Baylor, 2 seed Arizona. I think this is a really good game, too. I really do like both these teams with George and with Tabellis. I think Tabellis is the best guy on the court. So I'm going to advance Arizona to the Elite Eight. All right, the Midwest Regional. So from the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, 5 seed Miami, 1 seed Houston. Marcus Sasser should be back for the Sweet 16, barring something unforeseen. I do think Wong can match him point for point, so that's your case for Miami here to go to the Elite Eight. But I think that this Cougars team has a big chip on its shoulder, and so does its coach, Calvin Sampson, so I'm going to advance them to the Elite Eight. And 7 seed Texas A&M and 3 seed Xavier. That's a pretty fun Sweet 16 matchup right there. I like this Aggies team a lot. I think they do have a lot of potential. I really like Wade Taylor. And Xavier has a good team in its own right as well. And I really do like Sean Miller. Sean Miller, Buzz Williams is a fun coaching matchup. But I'm going to pick A&M to advance. All right, the West region from T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. 12 seed VCU, 1 seed Kansas. VCU, great run, but all good things must come to an end. Kansas is a machine. They're an unstoppable machine. And they have a big four in Wilson, Dick, McCullough, and Adams. So therefore, I'm going to advance Kansas to the Elite Eight. And 3 seed Gonzaga, 2 seed UCLA. This is the best projected Sweet 16 matchup I have on the board. I love it. A rematch of the semifinal game from 2 years ago when Gonzaga won at the buzzer. And I think it's going to be a great game. I think this is the time where the loss of Jalen Clark will come to hurt UCLA. So I'm going to advance Timmy and the Bulldogs. In the East region, the regional finals being held at Madison Square Garden in New York, the best arena in the world. I absolutely think that the Garden should have the regional final every year. Every year. This is the most special place in the world in terms of sports and entertainment. I think that place needs to be up there at Disney World for, best places ever, personally. It's just magic things happen there. And my first of 2 projected matches here are Duke and Purdue. The Battle of the Bigs, you have Filipowski on Duke's side and Edey on Purdue's side. But Purdue usually tends to flame out under Matt Painter in matchups like this, where just the talent is better. So I'm going to advance Duke to the Elite Eight. And the other Sweet 16 matchup at the Garden, you have USC and Kentucky, which is a 10-6 matchup. You don't see that in the Sweet 16 very often. Boogie Ellis obviously used to play for Memphis, and Memphis and Kentucky have some sort of a rivalry thing because John Calipari coached Memphis a long time ago, and they're a state away. But Kentucky seems like a team that's coming together. Oscar Tshiebwe's the best guy on the court in this matchup, so I'm going to advance Kentucky to the Elite. All right. The South Regional Final from Louisville, 2 seed Arizona, 1 seed Alabama. My only chalk regional final, and this I think is the most likely one to be chalk. There's going to be 2 guys battling out for best guy on the court. Obviously, Brandon Miller and Azuolas Tubelis. I think this is where Bama comes apart, and I think that Tubelis could just dominate this game. So I'm going to advance the Arizona Wildcats into the Final Four as I have them winning the South region. All right, the Midwest Regional Final from the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. 7 seed Texas A&M, 1 seed Houston, great in-state rival. You have Buzz Williams and Calvin Sampson. It's going to be a great game. Marcus Sasser, hopefully he's back by then. I just think Houston's better, and I think the run for A&M will come to an end. So I have the Houston Cougars in the Final Four. All right, the West Regional Final from T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. 3 seed Gonzaga, 1 seed Kansas. Great game. You have Drew Timme, you have Jalen Wilson. Back and forth game, I can see. But I just think that with not that much pressure on the Bulldogs, I think they're going to come through here into the Final Four. So I'm going to have Gonzaga come out of the West region. And they're going to have a home court advantage in that game being in Vegas. And last but not least, the sexiest Elite Eight matchup that everybody wants. Kentucky Duke from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. That is a college basketball junkie's dream. You know Jim Nance is going to be there for it, hopefully. But although, in theory, he should be at Gonzaga, Kansas, it's going to be interesting to see where they put Jim Nance. But they got to put him at Madison Square Garden for his last tournament. Come on. The most special place in sports has to have the voice of this tournament over the past several decades. That's at Stars Abound. You have Oscar Tshiebwe and Kyle Filipowski. I just think Filipowski and the Blue Devils are a team on a mission. John Shire, I think, has done a wonderful job. So I'm going to advance the Duke Blue Devils into the Final Four. All right, the Final Four from NRG Stadium, Saturday, April 1st. 5 seed in the East region, Duke Blue Devils. 2 seed in the South region, the Arizona Wildcats. Excellent game. Battled the bigs with Filipowski and Tubeless. I think this is a great game. I just think Arizona's deeper with Tubeless and Umar Ballo and Pele Larson and Courtney Ramey. They arguably have better guard play than Duke, and Duke has good guard play. They're getting better guard play. But I think Tubeless might be the best guy on the court. I'm going to advance Arizona into the national title game. And then the second of two semifinal games. Your Western region 3 seed Gonzaga Bulldogs and your 1 seed in the Midwest region Houston Cougars. Pretty much a home game for Houston. That matters here. Marcus Sasser versus Drew Timme. Great individual player matchup here. Home court advantage Houston. That will propel them into the national title game, as I have them facing off against your 2 seed in the South region, the Arizona Wildcats. I think this is going to be a fabulous game on April 3rd. You have Tubeless on one side. We just talked about Zona's depth. But Houston's depth behind Marcus Sasser is pretty solid too, with Jarace Walker and Tremont Mark, and they have a lot of really solid players on this team. Also Jamal Sheed and Jawan Roberts, who I can't forget about as well. I just think this is meant to be for Houston. The Final Four in their hometown. The voice of the NCAA tournament, Jim Nance, calling his final NCAA tournament, as the reins will be passed on to Ian Eagle next year, who is a wonderful choice to replace Jim Nance. They couldn't have picked a better replacement for Jim Nance, and that's all due respect to Jim Nance. I think he's a wonderful announcer. It will not be the same without him calling the games. I know Ian Eagle's fabulous, and like I said, they picked the correct choice to replace Jim Nance on the call. But Jim Nance will still be a part of the trophy celebration, which is pretty cool. But with Nance's last Final Four being in the city where he's from and where he went to college, his alma mater, Houston University, it has to be Houston. I know they're the betting favorite to win it all, but I think it's very meant to be for the Houston Cougars. So therefore I have the Houston Cougars winning the 2023 NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. All right, now I'm going to go through odds real quick, and now we're going to get into the betting stuff for the tournament for a future standpoint. And by the way, the most outstanding player, if that is a betting option for me, I'll gladly take it. But if it's not, I'll give out some long shots, but I really do think that Sasser will be the most outstanding player, if you ask me. So team to reach the Sweet 16. All right, team with the most value. To reach the Sweet 16. VCU at 8-1 would be a play I'd give out because I gave them out. USC plus 425 I think is a good bet. Duke plus 180. I can't believe Duke is under or more than plus 150. Why does Kentucky have better odds than Duke? I think Kentucky's overvalued. Duke is undervalued compared to Kentucky. And then a super long shot. I am going to say Arizona State at 15-1. If they get through their game and somehow find a way to knock off potentially Gonzaga. And the other one that it's a long shot, maybe Louisiana Lafayette at 12-1 if they upset Tennessee and they find a way to pick off Duke, which would be very difficult. All right, the region winner. To win the East region. So Purdue's obviously the betting favorite, plus 220. Marquette's plus 425. Tennessee plus 425. Duke 8-1. Kansas State 10-1. Kentucky 12-1. Michigan State 15-1. Memphis 16. SCFAU each 20. Providence 30. Oral 60. As in Oral Roberts. Vermont and Louisiana Lafayette 100-1. Montana State 200-1. Texas Southern 400-1. All right, my pick would be Duke at 8-1. That's my pick to come out of that region. I can't believe they're 8-1. I'm surprised they're not like 5-1. Kentucky 12-1 is good value. USC 20-1 is excellent value because I have them in the Elite Eight. So why not take a stab at them at 20-1 to win the East region? Team to win the South region: Alabama plus 190, Arizona plus 425, Baylor 550, Creighton 750, San Diego State's 9-1, West Virginia's 14, Virginia's 15, Utah State and Maryland are each 25-1, Missouri's 40, NC State, Charleston are each 50, Furman's 80, UC Santa Barbara's 150, Southeast Missouri State and A&M Corpus Christi are each 500-1. The value play to win the South region. So I have Arizona winning the region, and they're the value play, plus 425. Like, they should be 3-1. And Alabama should really be like 250. That should be a lot closer. San Diego State at 9-1 is a good flyer because I think there's a chance they knock off. There's a decent chance they knock off Bama in the Sweet 16. And my number in that projected matchup was less than 3. But one team has Brandon Miller, who's good at basketball, and the other doesn't. So maybe San Diego State would be like my flyer pick to win that region. The West region, UCLA is the favorite, plus 275. Kansas is plus 350. UConn and Gonzaga are each 4-1. St. Mary's is 10-1. TCU's 12-1. Arkansas 14-1. Boise's 22-1. Illinois and Northwestern are each 35-1. VCU's 50-1. Arizona State's 61. Nevada and Iona are each 70-1. Grand Canyon's 100-1. Howard's 300-1. UNC Asheville is 400-1. Gonzaga at 4-1's the pick. Case closed. But a long shot, I can't really find a long shot. Maybe Arizona State if they get by Gonzaga. I know I made the same case for the Sweet 16, but if they get by Gonzaga, UCLA still doesn't get back. They lost Clark for the year. That comes back to bite them. And get hot against Kansas, who they've beaten in the past, not in the tournament, but in the regular season. So Arizona State at 60-1 is the value play. And I'm surprised UCLA is the favorite even without Jalen Clark. And the Midwest region, Houston plus 160, Texas is 3-1, Xavier's 7-1, Iowa State's 10-1, Indiana's 12-1, Miami's 14, Auburn's 15, A&M's 18, Iowa's 20, Penn State's 35, Drake's 45, Kent State's 50, so is Mississippi State, Pitt's 80, Kennesaw State and Colgate H200, and Northern Kentucky is 40. Houston deserves to be the favorite, no doubt about it. The Sasser thing scares me a little bit, but the value play is Texas A&M at 18-1. I have them in the Elite Eight, so if they find a way to beat Houston, maybe Sasser's injury's worse. That's your value play. And another team of value, I think Miami at 14-1. Maybe they knock out Houston in the 16, and maybe it's A&M in the Elite Eight, they beat them. So Miami at 14-1 is good value, as is Texas A&M at 18-1. To reach the final, I'm not going to go over all of them. I'm just going to give out some value picks. Duke, 18-1 to reach the final. Kentucky, 20-1 to reach the final. Good value plays. Arizona, who I have in the final, 7-1 to reach the final. Holy crap. And a long shot that could maybe sneak in there. USC at 75-1 if they knock off somebody and make the Final Four. I have them in the Sweet 16, so maybe SC at 75-1 be the value play. And then your championship odds, the ones that are the best. Houston's only plus 450. I wouldn't bet that. I would just go like game by game with them. So some value plays. Kansas is 12-1 to repeat. I think that's nuts. Overvalued UCLA definitely at 10-1. Gonzaga at 14 is interesting. So is Arizona. Duke is 35-1. I think that's interesting. So is Kentucky at 40. Miami, what are they? 100-1. Whoo! That would be my value play. If I had a value play with the triple-digit odds, it's Miami at 100-1. There's a path for them to get to the Final Four, and maybe Gonzaga folds like they usually do, and you're playing Arizona in the final, and who knows? You could beat Arizona. So that would be my long shot to win the title. Miami at 100-1. And then somewhere between 50 and 100, one that I would take a stab at will be Texas A&M at 60. Anyone between 25 and 50, Duke at 35, obviously. And anybody over 10 but beneath 25, I would say Gonzaga at 14-1, as well as Arizona. And then they have teams that reach the Elite Eight, too. And these are all on DraftKings. FanDuel's odds might be a little bit different, so you can shop around and whatnot. But I want to see if FanDuel has the player, the player of the tournament odds. So, I don't see it. So maybe it'll come up later. But if it were to come up, Sasser, I think, would be the favorite. Filipowski would be somebody I'd look at on Duke. I would look at Brandon Miller on Bama if they were to make it that far. Azuolas Tubelis of Arizona. Obviously, Timmy of Gonzaga. Isaiah Wong would be a crazy long shot of Miami. Oscar Tshiebwe of Kentucky. Maybe Boogie Ellis of USC. Obviously, Jalen Wilson of Kentucky. So those are a couple of guys that I would look at in terms of odds for the most outstanding player once they come out. But I know Sasser would be the favorite. But I would take a look at Isaiah Wong or Filipowski on Duke and see what those guys' odds are. Alrighty. So that is it for the 2023 NCAA Tournament Preview and Predictions podcast. All right, so keep an eye out for the podcasts throughout the week for my gambling projections on all the games going forward. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night, everyone.